news for the state of Tennessee in about 10 minutes. Tennessee in 10 starts now.
We're on top of breaking news right now. Clarksville police are searching for a missing teenager with autism, and this could potentially turn into an Amber Alert situation. 17-year-old Jonathan Rowe was disappeared from Randall Drive around 2:30 this morning. Police say he ran into a wooded area near his home. Now, just an hour ago, fire rescue crews say they believe they made contact with him, but that he ran away. Jonathan is autistic and has a medical condition that he takes medicine for every day that he has now missed. Now, because of all of this, police say they're asking for an Amber Alert to be issued. Right now, several officers are searching for Jonathan. A tracking canine from Stewart County is now in the mix helping with that. If you know anything, call police. Well, closing arguments expected to start this morning in the public corruption trial against former House Speaker Glenn Cassida and his former Chief of Staff, Cade Cothran. The jury will then be sent home and return Monday morning to begin deliberating. This trial has lasted for nearly 2 weeks. Cassida and Cothran face 19 federal charges, including fraud, money laundering, and bribery. If convicted, they both face up to 20 years in prison. Family and supporters of Tyre Nichols gathered at a rally yesterday, calling for justice in his death. Hundreds of people showed up to the National Civil Rights Museum after 3 former officers were cleared of state charges yesterday. Nichols' mother says it was the jury that failed her son. Former Memphis Mayor A.C. Wharton also weighed in on the case.
Whenever I was trying cases, I would make it clear to the jury, this is not a matter of a dispute between a prosecutor and some defense lawyers over here. The indictments do not read Steve Mulroy versus the police officers. It reads the state of Tennessee against one of our citizens.
Wharton also said he's been able to see both sides of this trial as a former mayor and an attorney who's both sued police officers and had to fire them as well. New numbers show that Tennessee Highway Patrol and ICE may not be finished with their work in Nashville. THP says troopers have made 468 traffic stops since Sunday and taken 94 people into custody. And we know that those numbers likely don't include ICE activity because we've seen federal agents working alone. It's still unclear how many people are in ICE custody right now. We don't know their names. We also don't know where all of them are being held. But we are learning more about some of the people arrested in the immigration enforcement. Authorities say that a known Venezuelan gang member and an MS-13 gang member wanted for aggravated murder out of El Salvador are both in custody. At least 3 have been arrested for DUI, 5 caught on felony warrants, and 2 arrested because of drugs. THP says that they are only stopping people based on traffic violations and that they're not entering neighborhoods. Now, just yesterday morning, we watched ICE agents detain a South Nashville man. He was with family during the encounter. The man was not carrying his paperwork, and he was detained. His wife says he's in the country legally, but under federal law, legal immigrants are required to carry proof of their legal status. The man's wife and son were allowed to go. All right, First Alert meteorologist Stefano DiPietro tracking out the forecast for the weekend where you live.
And we do have a little bit of a chance of rain this weekend, Amanda, but I don't really think it's anything to wash out any plans you may have overall. Rest of our day today, we're burning off the fog. It's really going to be a pleasant Friday with good sunshine across much of the state. Temperatures comfortably in the 70s for us. Might be a little breezy, but less humid. Cloud cover is going to build back in heading into the weekend with some breaks of sunshine, but a good start to our Saturday. Notice a little rain will try to creep in to far southern Tennessee through Saturday afternoon, but I think the bulk of the moisture will hold off and stay down to our south. But I don't want you to be surprised if in, let's say, Chattanooga, Lawrenceburg, maybe over near Memphis as well, we get a little bit of rain. Temperatures will still be in the 70s, and continuing through Saturday evening and overnight, a quick little rain shower, nothing that will cause any big problems. There's no severe weather threat. Even on Sunday, there will be a couple of spotty rain showers, mixing clouds and sun once again. Any rain would be light, so I'd say all in all, not a bad weekend for us, Amanda.
All right, Stefano, thanks. He thought all they wanted was an iPad and some phones, but it turns out a group of kidnappers wanted him. For the first time, a Tennessee pastor who was kidnapped while leading a sermon in South Africa is sharing what happened in those terrifying moments and how he knew things were about to get way worse. A professor at MTSU is accused of using his position at the school to steal state money. The TBI has been looking into Dr. Don Hong for the last year, but investigators say he was stealing money from 2020 until 2024. According to the TBI, Hong would encourage students at Middle Tennessee State University to donate money to one of the school's science programs, and then he would transfer that money to his personal bank account. Dr. Hong now facing charges of theft, forgery, and official misconduct. A former detective with the Dickson County Sheriff's Office has been charged with reckless endangerment. The TBI says 41-year-old Doug Kimbrough allowed his 13-year-old daughter to drive while his 9-year-old was in the vehicle. An investigation started back in February. The TBI got a complaint. Kimbrough was off duty at the time. He was arrested and booked yesterday into the Dickson County Jail on a $1,000 bond. For the first time, we're hearing from the Maryville pastor who was rescued after being kidnapped while leading a sermon in South Africa. This happened last month. Several agencies spent days looking for Pastor Josh Sullivan until they found him at a home. That's where 3 suspects were shot. Sullivan survived and was able to return home unharmed.
Do you want to tell me what happened? What happened that night?
Well, I was just expecting to give them, I preach from an iPad. I was expecting to give them that and maybe have some phones taken from the church people. But when they hit me over the head with the gun and grabbed my wife, I knew this is different. Something's up. They got me to the ground and they knew my name, called me by name, said, "Josh, is this your wife?" I was terrified, said, "Yes, that's my wife."
How were you treated when you were held captive?
Physically, they took care of me. They didn't beat me or anything like that. But mentally, they would come in and say awful, evil things to me. And they would.
Pastor Sullivan says he was in captivity for 122 hours. He says he didn't sleep much and spent most of his time praying. Thanks for joining us for Tennessee in 10. We're going to send you back to Local News Live, our parent company's streaming news service. Have a great day and a great weekend.
This is Tennessee in 10, streaming your news and weather across the state in about 10 minutes.